going on, guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today I've got another NU match. This one is against Mojo Jojo, and he is actually a dude on Twitter, so if I refer to him as a he, it's probably why. But yeah, so that also reminds me, if you do have a Twitter and you're a good Wi-Fi battler, go ahead and follow me over there. I've pretty much been battling everybody that replies to my challenge requests, so go ahead and smash that link in the description if that's the type of thing you're into. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this battle here. Alright, so this is a new team that I've been working with. I kind of just wanted to use some stuff that I don't use a whole lot, so I've got my main man Rhydon here for the go-to lead, as he ends up leading off with the Slowbro, so definitely predicts my lead there, and I don't really want to catch a Scald. So I'm going to go ahead and switch out here. I decided to bring in my Samurott. The old Narwhal comes out because he's gnarly, and he's a Narwhal, as he actually makes a nice prediction and goes for the Thunder Wave, predicting the switch there, as it actually misses. And you know, in today's day and age, you can miss Thunder Waves. I kind of forget about that. But I'm going to go ahead and dance with some swords over here, as this thing is just going to go for another Thunder Wave. Honestly, that's kind of fine. As long as I'm still able to connect on a Mega Horn, I should be able to get an OHKO on this thing after the Swords Dance. So he's actually going to stay in, and I still do outspeed even with the Paralyze, so that's awesome. I connect on the Mega Horn, and that is going to be a dead Paul. So right off the bat, getting rid of Slowbro is really nice, because those things can be just an absolute pain in the ass, as you probably know if you've watched my channel. So now he decides to bring in the Scyther, and I'm just going to stay in here because Samurott's actually kind of bulky, and I know that I can take any attack from this thing, as it's just going to go for a U-turn. And I do see the Life Orb recoil there. That's pretty big because I know that this thing isn't going to be Eviolite, so I know it'll be a lot easier to kill, as unfortunately I am going to get fully paralyzed as he brings in the Venusaur. So I do want to save Samurott. I have some decent priority with Aqua Jet, so I'm just going to pop right into Houndoom here, expecting just a Giga Drain. He makes a nice play and just goes straight for the Sludge Bomb instead, as I take a whole bunch of damage from that. And at this point, I'm just going to go right for the Fire Blast. I know that if this thing is max special defense, it wasn't going to die to a Flamethrower, so I kind of just had to hope that I was going to connect on a Fire Blast there, and that works out. So I think I actually got some max damage there. I know that there was the chance for that thing to live it, depending on its EV spread. Maybe it wasn't max special defense, but yeah, so now he brings in the Miniar, and I know that this thing is going to start shell smashing and being kind of scary, so I'm just going to switch directly into my Rhydon here. I know that it's going to have a couple shell smashes to be able to knock me out with Earthquake, so this is perfect, as it does go for the shell smash there. I kind of just get a head start on it, switching right into Rhydon. Don't want to make any mistakes. Honestly, any Shell Smasher is terrifying, especially in NU. There's not a whole lot that can stop these things, but it's just going to go right for an Earthquake here, as I take less than half from that, which is amazing, because Rhydon is honestly pretty damn awesome. I never use this thing, and I really do kind of like it now, but I'm just going to go right for a Rock Blast. That is going to take it down in 2 hits, which is awesome, because now I don't have to worry about getting swept by a damn floating rock. Now with the open field, he decides to go into the Steelix. I do have Earthquake for this thing, but it won't do a whole lot of damage, and I'm just going to switch right into my Vileplume, as Nuptup can handle anything freaking Steelix wants to throw at me. So I am actually max defense on this thing. I'm pretty fit to handle that, as it actually makes a double switch. I'm guessing predicting the switch into Vileplume goes into the Scyther, and I know that I've seen too many Scythers. I know that this thing is going to Swords Dance. Rather than just going straight for the Aerial Ace, I predict the Swords Dance, and I'm going to go for the Sleep Powder, which works out perfectly, because this thing is going to dance with some swords, and now you are sleepy as hell. So this is perfect. I'm going to go ahead and not waste any time. I do have to switch right into my Rhydon. With just one Swords Dance, I still can go down to a Brick Break, so I gotta hope that this thing doesn't wake up here. It does stay asleep for the first turn, and at this point it actually ends up waking up, and a Brick Break is going to take out my Rhydon. With the Life Orb and the Swords Dance, this thing is powerful as hell, but luckily it's not too fast, and I do have a Choice Scarfed freaking Metacham on my team. So I sent out old Nipple Knee, who hasn't seen the light of day in freaking forever, since like Gen 4, as I'm just going to go for a nice little Ice Punch, and that is going to take this thing out because of the fact that it wasn't Eviolite, it was Life Orb instead. So that works out on my end, and yeah, so now he brings in the Typhlosion. This thing actually does kind of scare me. I am locked into Ice Punch, so I do have to switch out, as I'm going to go right into my Paulina. Best thing fit to handle a Typhlosion. I was expecting it to be Choice Scarf, but as I see here, it's actually a Z move. So it turns out to have Z Sunny Day, which is going to raise this thing's speed, giving it that nice little artificial Choice Scarf while also setting up the Sunny Day. And I know that Z Sunny Day freaking Typhlosion do generally run Solar Beam, but I am Assault Vest and max special defense, so I take like 45% from a Solar Beam, as to my surprise this thing actually just ends up going for an Eruption, which doesn't do much damage at all, because I'm just so damn specially defensive, and I'm just going to fire off a Scald in return. So I don't know why he doesn't have Solar Beam on this thing. It's pretty common on this set, even though it would do pretty much less than half to me, but regardless, he's actually just going to stay in and goes for a flamethrower that turn. Really still not going to do anything to me, as I'm able to fire off a Psyshock, which does do more damage because water moves actually don't do as much damage in the sun, so Psyshock is the best option there, as one more of them is going to end up taking this thing out. So that was a bad move on his end, not having Solar Beam. Like I said, Slowking would have been able to take at least one of them, and I do have like priority on my team with the Aqua Jet on the Samurott, and I do still have the Choice Scarf Medicham. But yeah, so now he's going to bring in the Boner Snake, as I just go for a Scald to get as much damage as possible before I go down, as he's going to fire off an Earthquake in return, and I actually end up living this. Paulina just does not want to go down, and that's pretty awesome, as the sunlight is going to fade, so I am going to be able to get a little bit more damage on this next Scald here, and there's really no reason to switch out, so I just stay in, go for another little hot water, and just go ahead and melt that Steelix right there. It does end up living it, and he is going to finish me off with an Earthquake. So I'm proud of you, Paulina. You did your best. So I do go down to that Earthquake, but I do obviously have a couple answers to this Steelix. It's in red health, and it's not looking too hot as it's his last Pokemon. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring in my Nipple Knee. I want to get Medicham the final KO for some reason, just because, you know, she deserves it, as I go for the high jump kick, and of course I miss, and I keep going and crash, which is going to give me like half damage, as he is able to go for an Earthquake, and that actually kills me. So I'm like, what the hell, Medicham? I give you this opportunity, and that's what you do with it. So I'm disappointed. I do still have Houndoom though, so luckily it's not the end of the world, because I can just bring in freaking Scooby Doom, and this thing is going to go down to a Flamethrower. Luckily there was no Stealth Rock on my side of the field. That would have made things a little bit more difficult, but yeah, a Flamethrower is going to take care of the Steelix, and that's going to be the end of the match there. So thank you guys for watching. As always, hit that like button on this video if you enjoyed, and I will be trying to get up as many Wi-Fi battles as possible in the near future. I'm going to try to get them up like every other day, at least that's kind of what I'm aiming for. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace out.